Back to another episode of Mental Mosaic with Kiki Garcia. So there is no doubt about it. Animals bring so much to our lives. They're just another piece to the puzzle. And I know personally, I would be lost without my dog and my cat. And I'm super excited to have Joel Silverman with us today. He's a celebrity dog trainer. He's also the former host of the Animal Planet's Good Dog You. Boy, do I need your help today. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
So, summertime's here. We have to take care of our dogs. Here it gets, we were in the hundreds last week. Now we're cooling off. Now we're back into the 80s and the 70s. What can we do in the summertime to burn off some of that energy in our dogs? I have a German Shepherd. She's like 100 pounds. She's very needy, which I was not expecting from a German Shepherd. And I need to do something with her to calm her down a little bit.
Well, one of the things I always like to let people know is that, especially this time of year, we're getting into the warmer times of warmer months. You kind of need to look at each dog as an individual, and if a certain dog needs more energy and to burn off energy, look at your dog, for example. Obviously, there are certain times of the day that's going to be better. And sometimes what people need to do is they kind of need to, what worked maybe in winter, maybe is not going to work now, because maybe during the winter you could walk your dog at 10 or 11 o'clock and, between 10 and 11 or 10 and noon. And now at that time, it's really, really super hot. So it might be to where you need to do it in the morning and might do it in late afternoon or even evening. But I always tell people that, maybe it is a thing where you need to spend an extra maybe 45 minutes or a half hour just walking your dog in the morning, and maybe an extra half hour, 45 minutes in the evening. There's some dogs that are okay with it, like a St. Bernard or a couch potato type dog. They're okay with that. But maybe a dog like your dog, and most of the listeners' dogs, they need exercise and they want to get out. And they certainly want to get out. If the weather was, obviously the weather's nice now, and 2 months ago things were, cold and things like that. So, so I tell people you need to look at each dog as an individual, kind of re-gauge and reset up your schedule. And maybe it is a thing you kind of, spending more time, walking and the dog in the mornings and evenings.
So my sister blew me away the other day. She was getting obsessive because her dog gained like 2 pounds. She has, I believe it's a golden lab. So she put her dog on a diet, and we were at the store and she was buying treats. And she started looking at the calories on the treats, on the dog treats. And I never even thought of that. And then I felt so bad because I hadn't. What should you look for in a treat that is healthy, but also going to make them happy?
Well, I tell people all the time, that I have been Bob Kelly, who's the president of Bill Jack Dog Food. I met Bob back in the day. I grew up as a Hollywood animal trainer. So I was training Dreyfus on the TV series Empty Nest. We were a spinoff of Golden Girls. And so, but I met Bob on that because we ended up doing a video together. And since that time, I've been feeding the food, and I've done a lot of stuff with Bob and Bill Jack and things like that. And so I use the treats, and I always tell people, and you raise a really, really good point about the fact that, there can be a lot of calories in a treat. Well, a lot of it depends upon the size of the treat. And unfortunately, there are a lot of treats that are out there that are huge. Mm-hmm. And, Bill Jack makes a lot of different types of treats. But one of the things they came up with years ago, they're called Little Jacks. And they're small little treats. They're only about, I'd say, an 1/8 of an inch diameter. They're real small. And so I'm really chintzy with my treats anyways when I train dogs. So I like feeding, smaller amounts anyways. So by doing something like that, and whether you're using any treat, whether it's Bill Jack treat or any type of treat, my suggestion is using a small treat, because the smaller the treat, the less calories you are giving your dog. And it was your sister that raised that question. You said, yeah, and it's a great question. There are people that will overfeed their dog, overfeed and overtreat anyways. If you are working with your dog, you want treats to be something special, not something you give your dog and he just chews and, forgets about what he just did. I want a treat that I can give him. He eats right away. It literally doesn't even chew it, just swallows it. It's like, okay, great, on the next thing. Because I want him to remember what we just did, not give him a treat and make a big celebration and eat the treat for, 30 seconds. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, now what were we doing again? So that's the idea, is you want some. So yeah, small treats real small. As I said, Little Jacks are really, really good for that.
Can you come over to my house and train my husband?
Exactly. People always ask me, do you train people too?
It's not really the dog, it's him too.
It's
It's so
always, you know
funny.
what? It's one or the other. It's like I see it to where a dog is really great with the wife, and then the guy is not good, or he's good with the wife, and and good with the husband, and the wife is not good with the dog. But I mean, what ends up happening, the reason we have this weird balance is because more times than not, the men have a strong voice, and even nothing physical at all. It's just that they've got a loud voice, and that voice means something to the dog. And so the dog ends up respecting him. Okay, even though there was nothing physical at all, he just respects him. But yet with the wife, she may not have the loud voice, but she's got the compassion, she's got the love, and the dog it's the same thing with us in our house. I've got Oliver, Havanese, and I train him and everything like that. And he loves my wife, and she plays with him. When she stretches, she brings his toys to her and stuff, and she throws the toys, and she's she's that person. So he is just into her because of that. She loves him, and she babies him, but she knows that I've got a louder voice, and stuff. I want to train him and things like that. So it's a different type of, he looks at us differently. And it's the same as with you guys. It's the same type of thing. And I tell people that's okay, as long as they respect and they love both people. It really doesn't matter,
It's amazing to me how regimented our dog is. The other morning, of course, I was off on Monday. So usually I wake up at 3 a.m. and, I, get ready for work and go to work and all like that. So the other morning I was home because we had the day off, and boy, she got up on that bed and she literally tried to push me off the side of the bed.
She's a shepherd.
Much. Yeah.
Yeah. They're funny. And they're depending on the size of the bed. I mean, shoot, they can take up a lot of space. She's like 100, like 90 pounds, something like that.
I would say she's probably a good 100 pounds now.
100. Okay. Yeah. It's a good size female. Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of the way they are. And, and you raise the bed. My attitude is, and there are trainers that were out there, and I'm not going to mention names, other trainers, don't let the dog sleep in your bed. It's like, you know what? You let the dog do what you want to do to have a better relationship with your dog.
Mm-hmm.
My dogs sleep in my bed. That's where they've always been. And for me, developing the bond, developing that relationship, to me, there's something to be said for that. They're there with you. And so I like that. I'm good with that. My wife is good with that.
Okay, now you got to tell me about Dreyfus. Was he as cute as he looked like on TV?
Yeah, I worked on the show from 1988 to 92, the first 4 years of Empty Nest, and we were a spinoff of Golden Girls, and people don't remember. A lot of people weren't born at that time, but so we were a spinoff of Golden Girls. We were like their neighbors, and then we had done a pilot, and the pilot got picked up, and we ended up doing the show. I worked on. We shot on Tuesdays, every Tuesday, two shows, one at like 5 and one at 7. I think we shot 2, and they would use, pieces of each show or whatever. And for 4 years, 192 tapings of that show we did. And Bear was great. People always asked his name was Bear. Played the part. He was a Shepherd Saint Bernard, a Saint Bernard Shepherd mix. Basically, that's what he was. A lot of people ask what kind of dog he was. And if anybody ever watched, if people Google Father Murphy, there was a TV series called Father Murphy back in the 80s. Michael Landon produced it.
Oh yeah.
Father Murphy, you'll see the dog on the show. That dog was bred with a Saint Bernard, and that's what created Bear. And so you'll see actually that what became and how it happened, because it's pretty interesting. So anyways, what made him such a great dog, I always tell people though, is his experience on the set. I grew up as a Hollywood animal trainer. I was, I started when I was like 20 years old. But what I've learned on the set is that when you have a dog that you raise on the set from day as a puppy, and all he knows is a set, and he knows people, lights and cameras and things like that, and he learns to work around that set, that makes the dog an awesome dog. And that's what made Bear such a great dog. His just experience constantly working on the set. He started as about a year old, and just that's all he knew, and it was really, really cool.
There's an episode of The Golden Girls where Rose is babysitting Dreyfus.
Yep, I remember that. Yep,
yeah. Wait, I might be getting my episodes mixed up, but there's one where he has like Dreyfus's kids over.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I just remember watching that as a kid and thinking, I want a Saint Bernard when I grow up. He was just.
Oh, it was so cool.
So
yeah, we did.
cute.
What happened was we bred him, and we had some puppies, and we ended up using this guy, little Banjo. I actually used Banjo, one of his puppies, in one of the episodes. I used him in an episode too, and as a double. But there was a dog named Julio, which was Bear's brother, who we used as kind of a double for him. He didn't look a lot like him and stuff, so we used. But if you see on the opening of the show, you'll see the very first season, there's some cuts on the opening credits. You'll see a dog, and it's running on the beach. That was Julio. That wasn't Bear. And I think that was Julio. But we had used him in a couple of the scenes in the opening of the show. But Bear did almost, did 99% of everything and stuff like that. Just a great
gosh.
dog. Yeah, just a great experience.
What a great story. I can't wait to tell my husband that I talked with you, because I love The Golden Girls. I make him watch it every night with me. That's like how I go to sleep at night. And that episode was just on because my husband never knew about Empty Nest.
Mm-hmm.
But
and the ladies, I will tell people too, because they used to shoot like right next to where we shot. I mean, literally, when I'd walked out to take Bear to go to the bathroom, I mean, I always go by their place, and I said hi to all this every day. I always said hi to the ladies. And then Betty White, I had a conversation with her at least 2 or 3 times a week. We would just be walking. I'd see her at her car. She had a yellow Cadillac she used to drive. And she was, her and I, because I grew up at SeaWorld training killer whales. And so I left SeaWorld in 1983. And I worked at, so it was only 5 years and she loved my marine mammal stories. So I would tell her all the killer whale stuff. And Betty White was just the absolute nicest woman. I mean, people know that they probably read a lot of stuff about her since she passed away. But I mean, all what you're reading is so true, because the first thing people talk about is how nice of a person she was. And she was the nice person. I would spend 20 minutes talking to her at least 3 times a week, probably.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And she was such an animal advocate too.
Yeah, she was great. She was really, really cool. And she, as I said, I mean, that was a surprise that she ended up working so into her 90s, on the set, so.
What a great story. Well, I love you. So where can people go and get more information about BillJack?
If people want to go get more information, they can go to billjack.com. That's BIL-JAC.com. We have a lot of videos up there. They're little 2-3 minute videos. There's probably about maybe 30, some advanced behaviors, some basic behaviors, things like that. And get information on BillJack, the food and things like that as well. There's difference in BillJack and other foods. I always tell people just go there and read their independent studies. And then also you go to my website, which is joelsilverman.net. And right now I've written 5 books in the last probably 20 years. But right now I'm currently doing a tour with 2 other trainers. We're 3 of the top probably 5 in America as far as the tour and things like that. And so people know. And so it's a dog training workshop tour. And actually, so Oliver, quit. And so it's going to be, we will be actually in Denver. We're going to be in Denver next year, which is close to you guys. People always go to my website, which is joelsilverman.net. It's open to all trainers, it's open to everybody. And it's a 3-day workshop tour. It's going to be at a DoubleTree in Denver.
Oh, wow. I might have to go check that out.
Yeah, it'll be April of next year.
Oh, perfect. Well, Joel, thank you so much for being with us today. It was a joy talking to you. And I'm going to go home and buy some little treats of the BillJacks, because that way my husband's not giving a big old bone every day to the dog.
Good. And one thing I was going to say, I just remembered, we're also going to be in Dallas, actually, because Dallas is actually close to you guys too. We're going to be in Dallas in 2 months, actually, in August 19th through 21st. We will be in Dallas, and there's still tickets for that one. And there'll be probably 100 people there at that event as well. So awesome. Well, thanks again. And I will be talking to you soon. Thank you. Have a great day. Thanks for having me. You too. Thanks.